Today we're going to be tying a sulphur version of a puff daddy. It's an extremely versatile fly, and it's usually the first fly I tie on during a sulphur hatch. It works during a variety of stages of the emergence, but it works particularly well if you see duns kind of skittering around the surface. Like I said, it works anytime. I've even caught fish on it when they were taking spinners. Just be sure to dust it up with a good desiccant if you're fishing it on the surface. You can also fish this wet and swing it like a wet fly. This is a really versatile pattern. In addition to imitating sulphurs, you can imitate blueing olives and even caddis. I fish this in a lot of different situations. Today I'm going to be using a TMC 100 size 18 hook. I use TMC 100s, TMC 101s, and Fulling Mill 50/50s quite a bit, but any good dry fly hook's going to do the job. I tie these a lot to imitate sulphurs in size 14 down through 20. Early in the season, you'll see bigger bugs. Later in the season, you typically see smaller bugs and pickier fish. I don't fish those 14s very often, but it's nice when they work. I'm going to be using a Semperfli 12-aught classic wax thread in Primrose. Any good 8-aught or 12-aught thread is going to do well here. And you can use a lot of different shades and colors to get different effects here, as you'll kind of see in a minute. I like to tie this in with quite a large tag end, and historically this fly was tied with a biot body. We're going to be using a dubbed body here. Frankly, it's a little bit easier. Theoretically, it's a little bit more durable, and then you can do a few more nuanced things with some of the coloration. So I'll show you that here in a minute. In terms of dubbing and color, kind of my standard go-to is just a really pale yellow. If you look at a lot of natural undersides, what you'll see is there's variation to these bugs. It seems like on a day-to-day basis. Pale yellow is a really good place to get started. Pale olives are also good, and even kind of like hints of orange here and there can be observed and can work well. When you tie this in, you can kind of dub it back to front, front to back, whatever works for you. I like to go back and forth just a little bit. And kind of build the taper I want that way. Just remember, you want this sparse. The original fly was tied with a biot body. So we're going to keep it real sparse. We're going to take that tag end and rib through it. And the tighter you rib it, the more it'll bind that material down. So it provides good segmentation, makes for a clean fly, and also provides a little bit of durability theoretically. Now, the only other material in this fly is CDC. I'm going to be using a natural CDC feather. It looks brown to the naked eye. They're labeled in all kinds of different ways depending on the company and the age of the pack that you might have in your hand. But it looks kind of dark brown. For whatever reason, that has just worked well for me. Looking at the naturals, it doesn't look as realistic as something like a light gray dun, but it seems to work much better for me. You can also try a variety of different colors here. Weird yellows and oranges and cinnamons have worked for me from time to time. But just as a baseline, kind of this natural brown, or sometimes labeled natural gray, works really well. And then one thing I'll do is I'll do a couple wraps here. I'll fold this stem back, tie it down again, and then tie forward. I'll trim the stem out. And it doesn't have to be super clean. And then that just provides more durability, and you don't have the feather pull out when that happens. One other thing I'll mention is that in addition to varying the size and the color here, a lot of times I'll vary the density of CDC. So for really picky fish, I'll do maybe just 1 or 2 turns of CDC. For covering water, and particularly if you see bugs skittering, I like to have some that are way more heavily CDC'd or heavier hackled. So like I said, if I knew I was going to fish this for really picky fish, I'd tie a real small one with maybe just 2 turns of CDC. We'll do, I guess we'll do 3 here. And then one other trick that I like is I like to have a little bit of extra CDC on the top. And so I'll pull this hackle stem forward at about a 45-degree angle, and that largely kind of lines up the tips here. You can pull it shallower or steeper depending on how your feather is shaped. But I'll hold those fibers back, which you can see here. And I'll do a loose wrap. I'll let go of the thread, and then I'll just push down with my pinky and ring finger here and kind of trap those fibers on top. I'll do a turn or 2, and that helps lock that feather in. Clip it close. It's not real essential that you cover all this up super cleanly. The fish honestly don't really care. But you can see that's a pretty good looking fly already. And that is a puff daddy that will catch fish on the South Holston and Watauga, and I'm sure many other places as well.
And I wish we were chasing waterfalls somewhere in North Carolina. And I wish I was home